and whatever I see is smiling at me. Love is who I am. Hello there, beloved Ascension pioneers and all you divine lovers of life and creation. So, as you know, recently I've had some of the longer videos and topics, and I know some of them were more serious in nature. They had to deal with a lot of the things we need to recognize on our path of sovereign discernment. But today, just because it's Valentine's Day, I wanted to bring a short message of love, acknowledgement, and universal love embodiment for those of you on the path of being a divine lover of life. And I want to also show you, as a special bonus, a new sketch that I received today. It was beautiful because, as you know, if you follow me long enough, I have these 27 beloved paintings that I'm gonna very soon in the near future create into an oracle, the cosmic journey of the beloveds as I see it in the infinite life in creation, and what this essence and spark is truly all about. Because a lot of the people, especially in the new age twin flame communities, they think and talk about this love as in its special love, and that it only relates to those who are in this twin flame path, and it's almost like this love is reserved only for those few. And you know, for me, that really doesn't resonate, because in truth, the twin soul merge, which is our inner path, the inner self-beloved that we all have as an individualized aspect in creation, is meant to overflow, and it's meant to be precipitated through all life in creation, and it's meant to create. So as much as source creates, and many extensions of the source co-create, then also our creations are meant to experience all of that. So creation is always viewed from the perspective of macro pouring itself into the more micro versions of itself, which is all source. So this painting, which is basically an idea, a vision that I received today through this sketch, and I have to warn you, I'm not the best drawer or painter at all. And just recently I shared my article with someone, and they said to me, well, because I said it's kind of childlike, you know, my drawing, and the person said, you know what, even better, because that's how you know it's pure. And I'm like, oh, thank God someone thinks that way, because sometimes we see everything that needs to be, you know, a certain way, otherwise it doesn't have value. But no, it's almost like when we watch kids, how they draw and sketch and color, you know, in their coloring books. It's really just the presence in the moment. So when I sat behind an empty blank piece of paper, it was because recently I was more focused on my book, and I didn't really dedicate a lot of my time to more artistic parts of me, and my soul was kind of like nagging me, and I knew, okay, I need to bring this balance back. But a day before, I sat and I meditated, and I had this impression like, I have a feeling there's an addendum to this cosmic beloved journey and the story that I created through those paintings. And I had this feeling like I need to paint something more, but I didn't have any idea what this would be. So today I took my stuff, as I always do when I come here in this beautiful hill, in this beautiful, gorgeous, overlooking the Alps location. And I had this impression, I just want to put this blank piece of paper, and I didn't know. And I thought, usually, you know, I draw these beloveds and faces, and, you know, there's something coming out as an essence. But this time it was completely blank. Like, I didn't know what was going to come next. So this is how we are when we are like our divine child, our core self. And I've talked about the core creation self with all of you for quite a while. And you know that you're in the spark when everything else that you think you're pursuing and you're meant to pursue and you're meant to do just simply transpires, and you're being moved to this higher octave of your true nature, which is just this playful existence. You're playing with existence, and existence translates itself through you. So I'll show you later on the sketch that I received. I want to show you a little bit of what it represents to me, well, how spirit presented this through me through these divine essences and archetypes. And again, please remember, it's not about how drawing looks, but it's about what's in it. It's about the essence coming through, and there's a whole lot of love present there. So my message for this year, and if you've been following me for a while now, you've seen that every year I try to do the Valentine's message special for my beautiful group of Ascension pioneers. I'm really being reminded of this love that is not just interpersonal, because our interpersonal relationships that we experience day to day. It's not just our close family circles or, you know, our comrades, our friends, and the people that become our intimate partners, perhaps, or what we say, wow, are people who are destined to be with us. But also the people we meet day to day, perhaps people in the stores, you know, or, you know, somewhere in the road, if we're driving a lot, or whatever it is for you, wherever you are. It's the people we meet daily. And how do we meet these people through love? And we don't need, perhaps don't even need to say something or engage with words. Just knowing that the love is not just reserved for a certain twin flame community or people who say, I'm a twin flame. It's very much dogmatic. It's becoming a very dogmatic belief instead of the core creation truth of how I see it, the twin soul essence, becoming and creating a life in existence through various streams of its consciousness, expanded versions when we move out into the worlds of creation, always remaining that seed of the twin soul nature within. And yet the relationships we experience as our interpersonal relationships are almost like a practice for us as to how much divine love we will ultimately embody, because it's all about that precipitation of divine love. For people who say they're star seeds, but yet they see this twin flame, it's almost like an identity. It becomes so hard and fixated and rigid that it almost becomes an identity on its own. They're not even being able to really flow with that which is outpouring as that divine mana, which is what came through this sketch today. And this, when you don't have any labels, any attachments to it, you know your twin soul core, you know your creation nature, you know yourself, and you've embodied this connection that you have with your core creation self, but you don't place any labels or expectations to it. I have to share my own experience because I also do have my own human experience, as opposed to how much knowledge I have and cosmic memory that I outpour here with all of you. And there's many of you who are star-seeded ones, and you've shared with me that my sharings on the beloved topic help you to transcend this twin flame idea that is more related to identity and more into your inner communion of how you receive it, how you receive the beloved, which is love that's universal. And even if that is a direct translation of what you call your twin flame or your soulmate or your divine counterpart, which is the word I really love to use because it's not yet been so much connotated with all of that junk that we love to create through our human mind, you are still, even if it's that direct translation, if it's someone magnetically resonating with you in this time and moment, you have to see it's still, they're still an individual on their own. They're still an evolving soul. Even if you say that's the same soul as my soul, yeah, but it's still relating through this persona identity that you have here in this human form. So this twin soul communion, in truth, it's about awareness. The more awareness you have, the more your divine love can precipitate and overflow through you. So even that together, when you're not just alone or single, whatever, and a couple, them, you can precipitate with that love. You can translate it in such purity will occur through more awareness. Not just by you saying it's all about that twin love, right? It's also about awareness. So the more aware you are, the more expanded you become, the more of that divine mana can overflow through you. So for me, that's what the twin soul union truly represents. Union is always occurring in layers and stages. I've shared this with you before in all of my union videos. It's not something that's fixed. It's created to a certain date of the union of the, you know, people create all these different paradigms around that. And I see so much being put there energetically that it's hard for us to really feel the real truth just being shown to us in the moment. Like I received that sketch today in the moment. I had no preconceived notion of what's going to come, whether something will come, whether what's it even about, where it's going to be meant to be, because all of the work that I did with all my paintings, poetry, art, music, I do devotional beloved music, which again will be one day available for all of you. To help you spark your own beloved connection. All of that is my own communion with spirit, and how I received it all my life has been through instant direct transmission. It never was like, okay, I'm sitting, now I want to receive a song. Or it's always been so much in the moment that my mind could not get interfered. So my message for this year, and Spirit's message is, do not allow these mental perceptions kind of like distort your visions, because our higher ideals and visions are much more important now, and they will carry us forward into this new consciousness wave, more so than the dogmatic beliefs we had about anything. Because anything we have like this fixed idea, that's how it is, and it's all there is. We're not really expressing our divine nature, which is constant expansion, constant evolution. Even when you perceive, okay, I've received a certain mastery level, well, it's ongoing. Guess what? Your humility to rise up to the occasion each time with each new perception integration makes you an expanded, aware, multidimensional being who's not living in a rigid, linear perception reality. So this year, it's the messages that are coming forth are all about that. Those of you who've done this work, you are now becoming these pure channels. You're like a blank slate, a blank piece of paper, really ready to receive your union in a new way. Perhaps it's something that you felt was the truth, but it was actually a spiritual belief masked under that truth. That's happening for a lot of people now. But like I said, if you are of star-seeded nature and origin, you will eventually get to the core, because that's encoded in your light DNA. You have that. And I've sparked this divine remembrance for many people who are saying they resonate with my videos on this topic because it's so free. And it speaks about the importance of divine love that's overflowing. It's unconditional, and it's transpersonal, not just interpersonal human love, which is a beautiful aspect. But when we are more interested in that merged divine union of two beings who are highly aware beings, beings of high integrity, beings of higher ideals and visions, that will be a marriage not just in a romantic way, not just for your personal lives, but it will be a marriage, a union of higher ideals and integrated divine masculine and feminine, not just within when you do that work, but also in two beings who are able to encompass that in their being. They're already holding that, they're already embodying that. So for a lot of beings who wanted that as like it's something on the pedestal out there, and they were waiting for it, like postponing for it, they kept having this ideal that it's this idealized union that's not really union you are achieving right now in this moment. And in each moment it's unfolding, it's a blossoming journey. That's why my oracle will be called the cosmic journey of the beloveds, because it is a journey just as much as it is the truth of creation. So that's the message. And the other message is that our interpersonal relationships and loves are a doorway for how much divine love we can embody. But without those descriptions, labels, preconceived notions, a lot of people, when they talk about karmic or past life relationships, they talk about it in a sense that it's so good and positive and intense. I'm not really for that. And just recently I watched someone doing tarot readings, and they're really nice. They're really grounded, down to earth readings. And she said, I'm not really into past life relationships, so whenever I get this card or something like a message, I'm like, no thanks, boo. Because it's past. It's not, if something's not carrying me into my future, then I'm not really choosing it. And I so agree with that, what was shared there, that I'm like, I sign under this, right? Because it's true. We don't sometimes see what is the true meaning. Why am I stepping into this relationship, or why am I a part of this communication? Why am I a part of this? Because it has to be done through conscious, integrated choice. That's what unions that will be lumen unions, unions within mastery, will be all about. And for those of you who feel you've been in the waiting zone, but you always knew your passion, you always knew that you're meant to experience something greater than just the label or just the expectation. You were waiting. You weren't really waiting, because waiting is the future timeline projection, but you were in preparation in your constant expansion for what can be in this vessel, in your container at this time. That's the second message. And the third message is, like I've already shared with you, that love is meant to precipitate, it's meant to be with all, it's meant to be shared with all. In my personal experience, every Valentine's Day, my human self was a little bit like, oh, I was always, even when I was in relationships in my past, every day, I think for Valentine's Day, I was alone, even when I was in partnerships, many years ago. And now with my perceptions being so much in this focus to devotion to service, is I know my love is for the right vibrational tuned partner, or it's meant to serve higher ideals and creativity that's feeding this selfless service path that I'm devoted to, and sharing this spirit work that I do through my own oversoul knowledge and all that is gathered and translated through me. That's my devotion. So my devotion, I don't go out on dates, I don't do these things, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going out on a date. It's just not been my predominant timeline, because I've been choosing a different life for myself, and I haven't seen it ever as a subtraction from what could be a partnership as well, because I felt that how I am, I just am, and if the one is meant for me, they will also be in a way looking in the similar direction. So that vibrational alignment you're choosing, your magnetic nature will attract that. If on the other hand you're going against your authentic nature just to attract a partner, then you're really attracting it from the mind rather than the core heart alignment. So that's the third message. It's meant to be within your authentic nature, and it's meant to precipitate and go out and share itself. So for me, I've always felt a little bit like, oh, edgy, because I was like, what is this about, And this year, I have to tell you, it's the first year when I really feel super awesome for Valentine's Day. I think for the last few years, my main theme, can I say theme? I think I can, was I used to go out and ski, right? But for these last 2 years, I got a little visit, a feminine visit, and I couldn't do that on that day. And I was like, what? I used to have this as a yearly tradition, a gift to myself. But I had another coming out of this whole equation, and I got this beautiful connection of the soul, and I got these soul gifts. And I just felt such overflowing of love from many of us who are making these conscious connections with each other, and love is just precipitating. It's kind of like spilling over the edge. That's the idea of the true union. It's so much, it creates a third energy, and that again moves out of itself, again creates a new cycle of growth, and again it's like the flower of life, right? Each circle then expands further out, and you get these all circles interconnected as one. That's what we're doing here with the New Earth consciousness. So our connections have to be conscious. If you want something, you want a partner in that alignment, but yet you're pursuing and you're doing things other people are doing just to be out there, just to get yourself out there. If you're not doing that out there the way that fits your soul and nurtures your being, then you're not being authentic. And even if you meet someone, you will meet them through the mental attraction, not the sacred heart reverence. That's truly an honoring of yourself as you are. And it took me many years to accept myself as I am, without that fear of, oh, I never go there or here or there, or what if I don't meet anyone? That was long in the past, not in the recent years. But for me, in a while, I felt always different. Even when I was much younger, and I was thinking about that a lot, and I used to go out, and people were drinking and partying, and I always felt I love going out. But the reason, even then, because I'm an ancient soul, and I'm not interested in these young soul pursuits, right? Like drinking, party, and stuff. But I loved going anyway, because I always was looking out for connections. I was always like so anticipating, oh, who could I meet? Who could I bond with? Who could I connect with? And of course, as my human self, many times disappointed, because that wasn't really the part of the game where people go out and party and meet other people, and it's very superficial. Most of the time it goes like this, bounces off very quickly, it doesn't go like this into the merge. And it took me much maturity of the soul and where I am now to really feel comfortable with knowing who I am, why I'm here, doing the work I'm doing. And for me, my sexuality, which, sexuality is the higher cultivation of our life force, which is then expressed. That's the overflowing part, our tantric essence, how it shares itself with all life forms in creation. And then when you see that it's supposed to be reverent and, in reverence, and supposed to be honored, then you will engage it in such pursuits as well. You won't just waste and destroy the energy that way. So it's very important. That's an important part of the message too. Don't just do things in order to do them, but ask yourself why you're doing the things you're doing them. Choose yourself first. A lot of you are givers and you're giving so much away, but are we ever considering yourself that maybe we also need that? We're here in this vessel, most of us, check. But what I want to say is that it takes real honor of the self, real authentic maturity into our soul presence, to know who we are, to do the things that are aligned with that being, that essence, and to know that our divine union is not separate from all of that, because we are the way we are. So why would we choose, why would we choose such a union for ourselves, that we'd have to work hard for things? Because we are the way we are. We shaped ourselves. We designed ourselves, right? And yeah, it's very important. So I knew that I always was looking for these higher ideals and higher connections, but it's hard to find that. But a lot of us found these connections we've made, and a lot of people within my, what I call my soul's domain, are finding me through the resonance of mostly what I shared. These are mostly meetings I get through people tuning into what I do with my videos and writings, because that's my main signature out there, and people are kind of responding to that, and the connections made that way, So, okay, I want to share this with you before the message again is too long, which is a standard case, right, with me. I hope you can see it. It's just a sketch, it's not yet a painting. I'm going to explain a little bit about design. I hope you can see it. It's called The Spirit of Creation. And I'm going to hold it like this. I hope you can see it. If not, then, just go with my words. What was coming through me was, first I drew the heart and then the swans, creating the Vesica Pisces symbol. And then they interconnected. Then I saw, ooh, this is actually a face of spirit behind it. I drew the face, then I drew the third eye. I created the flame, which is the polarized, the twin soul flame within one sacred fire flame, right? That's the triangulation. One holds the two essences, divine, masculine, feminine as one. But what's behind it, all this face you can see here, it's behind it. That's this ancient spirit of creation. So what you see here with its eyes, right, is it's attuned to these higher celestial creations. Like there's these worlds, right, different galaxies, like 7 creation rays, and then it comes and moves down, and it looks like they become tears, right? But these tears are not tears of sadness. These are precipitation of all that spirit has within, all that love. It precipitates, it moves into this vessel, this container of divine love. This is already this physical realm. And these hands, right, they're put in this motion, right? They're ready to receive. And this is like receiving from this, what I call the divine mana, the divine precipitation of creation spirit. It's the love that is so vast, we can't even imagine how spirit shows me this love. And through my creation pillar purpose, as these creation principles, they're all formulated through divine love. And when I feel this, it's so vast, it's so beautiful, but sometimes as humans we forget that we're always plugged into that, and we want that twin flame, and we want that super special connection, and we want that whatever, that's the next best thing, right? It's just stop pursuing, feel what already is. It's an all life. My boyfriend for today was this cat, right, that comes here for Valentine's, yeah, today. But it comes here to this hill as well. Sometimes he sits with us and he purrs and we pet him, and it's a really cute cat. I love that cat. It's amazing being, how it looks you in the eyes. I think I've mentioned the little Mr. Kitten before. But today I had this wish when I came up. I'm like, oh, I have these cramps, right? I wish the cat came and sat in my lap, and he did. He was there. I'm like, oh, you're super fast. So that love, right, that connection can be with anything, with anyone. When we have that love, things come to us, animals come to us. We feel spirit whispered in the wind, because the spirit of the wind, we feel everything is alive. We don't just say things are alive and then we do our, go out and about. We feel and we get messages, and that's how I live, and that's the messages I want to get across to all of you who are in a way aligned by moving in that direction. And this is what this for me represents, is that spirit of life, of all life in creation, the spirit of creation, how it creates, it always creates through love, the principle of divine love. And there's so many principles, what I call them, of creation here in just one painting. I'm not a drawer, I'm not a professional sketcher, painter, none of it. It's just a childlike version of how I receive it. But it's all there. And why there's like this big crown, right, is because it's this ancient royal self, because everything that's created, it's created through such high integrity. None of it is random. That the best I can see it is through this royal crown. But there's another crown here that's actually a crown of lotus. It holds the sacred flame. That's the essence of compassion. Without that, we don't get this. So if you're not compassionate for all life and you say, I want that twin flame, or I want this, it's like, sorry, you first have to remember what that divine twin soul spark truly is. Then you got to honor it, and you start having this connection with the spirit of all life in creation. You have to move it in your being if you want union on that level. If not, then go doing your own thing as well. It's all good. I'm just saying that this is that higher ideal, higher level of what divine union, what it always meant for me. And on this higher creation angelic level, this is what it is. So when we do it, we stay devoted to that. We embody more of it. We become more divine-like. We become more God-like. We become more an expression of that essence, not just beings who are here to, live, breathe, procreate, self-sustain in a way. But it becomes more of this wow, life is sacred. There's so much to honor and to so much reverence. And if I don't see people talking about that in terms of union and twin flames or whatever, it's not for me, and it's okay, because there's many levels and stages of this, and I know everyone is receiving this cosmic beloved how they are. But if you want to move deeper, I hope you like the sketch, by the way. You can always get my Cosmic Beloved course, which addresses all of that, and my Soul Embodiment is very aligned with that as well, because it's about soul embodiment through enlightened partnership, through sacred divine union and partnerships. So these courses really propel that awareness forward. That's my gift of consciousness I can share, and I'm meant to share with all of you, with the world, and always precipitate in that. I hope that made some sense. I hope you're having a beautiful time of love, spending it with the ones you love, but also sharing the essence of who you are with the whole world, and perhaps just screaming out in the world, oh, the world, I love you. Yeah, we do. I'm going to show you this sign here someone made. It wasn't me. Wasn't me? It really wasn't me, but it's a beautiful sign saying I love you, and the first time I saw it, I'm like, ooh, someone loves me. Who loves me? Ooh, I do. I know I do. And that's a first, and I know Spirit does, and I know all life does, so who else is left? Well, then it's all covered, right? All loves all, and we are that love, and I wish you to remember that love and to be that love and carry it forth in the world. With so many blessings, have a beautiful, happy Valentine's Day wherever you are, but please continue to move it forward every day. If my messages in a way inspire you, help your integration process of your own soul divine remembrance, share the love. There's links down below. I love you all so very much, and I'll talk to you soon. I hope this in a way was as blissful to you as it was for me. I love you so much. Take care. Bye.
Yes, I love you.